The views expressed and the opinions given by the individual host and their guests do not necessarily reflect those of Para X, its affiliates, or its sponsors.
Supernatural, metaphysical, paranormal. You know, all those things you've been wondering about? Are you ready to go deeper into the realms of the unknown? I hope you've got your walking shoes on, because life is an adventure, and this is the journey. Come on, let's go. Hello and welcome to the show, everyone. This is the Journey Radio Show, and hey, we're the She Squatchers. I'm Jen Cruz, your host. I've got my fellow teammate Tammy Trico. Hi, Tammy.
Hi, everybody.
We do not have our Jenna with us tonight. She sends her hello. She was really sad to miss you, our guest tonight. So I'm just going to get right into it because we have an exciting guest. We got Jesus Payan with us tonight. He's an amazing guy. He was on Breaking Bad, and I just loved him on that show. And so I just want to welcome him to the show. Hi, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. What's up?
Yay. I'm excited. Well, I know that you're into all things weird and paranormal and mystery and Bigfoot, and I'm all about all of those things. So I was so excited that you said you wanted to come on the show with us. So how did you get into that kind of thing?
Well, was kind of, I wouldn't say born into it, but my mom, when I was about 4 years old, she had a book called the Arthur C. Clarke's Mysterious World. That was kind of like one of my first picture books growing up. And when I turned 4.5, we went to Scotland to the loch to hunt for Nessie
I've been there.
for 2 weeks. So we did that for 2 weeks, didn't catch Nessie, but we scooped up some water and we figured there's some Nessie poo in there. So we kind of caught Nessie. But yeah, so it was from that point forward, anytime we had any book sales at school in elementary and whatnot, with anything that said Bigfoot, UFO, or the strange, I'd always order. And then as I got older, I started actually experiencing a lot of the things that I was reading about.
You
That's
started
how I got it.
experiencing things like what?
Well, I would say the first memories I have of the strange and weird would be again when I was about 4 years old with my sister. We lived in a 200-year-old house in England. My father was in the Air Force. We were stationed there, and yeah, we had ghosts. The house was haunted, and then that's also where me and my sister saw our first UFO. So that was in 1980 in December. My dad was boxing on Bentwaters Air Force Base when the Rendlesham Forest incident happened. Like literally, it was an hour away from me. I was right there, and that's also, like I said, when we saw our first UFO encounters. So from that point forward, it didn't stop. Seeing UFOs, the majority of houses that we lived in have seemed to always be haunted. Um, just not on base, our base housing never seemed to be haunted, but any other houses that we did live in towns, that were anywhere older than 40 years old seemed to have something going on with them.
So what is your opinion on that? Do you think that the houses were haunted, or were you haunted, or just more aware of that realm of things after you experienced it?
Well, back then, I thought it was just the houses, but not until I've lived everywhere, different countries, different states, and um, I think it's more of I'm more open to that sort of stuff, and yeah, it was just too prevalent in too many places I went. Everything couldn't be haunted, but it looks like the spirit realm is wide and far, and the majority of places there's some kind of spirits. roaming around at all times. It's very rare if you find the place is just null and void. They do exist, but for me, there's less of those that I run into. It's like the opposite. Most people are like, "Oh, one time I think I saw a ghost one time or a UFO one time." Mine's the opposite, and I'm like, man, there was just one time I lived in a house and there was nothing. You know?
Same. I think that
Yeah.
is
So
because that we as people, once you're open, you're like a beacon of light in a dark place. So everything sees you and everything is drawn to you. They can't help but be drawn to your light.
yep. They notice. They definitely can tell uh, if you're one of the ones. It's like you were just saying. It's like being in a solid dark room and you light your top of your head on fire. Um, Everybody can suddenly see you that normally didn't notice you, even though they knew you guys were out there. But the only thing with that is it also attracts the bad, not just good, and a little bit of everything can see you. Unfortunately, you know.
That's true. That's true. You never know what's going to be out there, right?
You don't get to pick and
Mhm.
choose what comes.
Yeah, I grew up that way too. Everything was coming at me. Yeah, yeah. But hey, that it's an exciting life that way, isn't it?
Oh, I like
Oh
it.
yeah,
I wouldn't want it the other way,
No, no.
I get depressed when I don't experience anything. It's
right?
like,
Like, what's
did
wrong with
everybody
me? Am I
did
broken?
everybody yeah, did they forget about me?
Right? Do I
It's
need
like,
new batteries? What's going on here?
Exactly, exactly. So what is the coolest, your most mind-blowing thing for you that has happened in that realm of things?
hmm. um, I would say mind blowing would be getting to uh, be within a few feet of Bigfoot. That really got me good. And then on the other realm of the UFO world is seeing UFOs. I've seen them up close. I've seen the little gray guys in my house, other houses that I've lived in, and being taken. So I'd say those two things are the top of a lot of strange stuff, like a lot of stuff that people just don't have no clue. In the ghost realm, I would say being grabbed by my ankles and dragged across the floor. Uh, that one really got me good.
Where did that happen?
It happened on a Navajo reservation, and it was an old single wide trailer, and we had plywood floors, and that whole area is pretty haunted. And yeah, one night I'm sleeping on the floor, and at the time I weighed, I'd say 375, close to 400 pounds. So this isn't just some prank. Somebody can grab you by your ankle and yank you. But yeah, I got dragged literally across the whole floor. And then when I got up and left to get out, I had my tablet in my hand, and as I was walking down, I took a picture, and I'll send it to you guys after the show or something. But you can see I was by myself, and we had an old school big screen TV on, so there's the screen looks white. There's a couch, and you could see somebody sitting there with stringy hair, and coming out of the ground to the left, you see half of a face coming out of the floor, and it's rotten. It has a rotten nose, so you can see the holes in the nose, and it
Oh
was
my
very
gosh, I would love to
scary.
see that picture.
I'll send it to you guys.
That'd be awesome. That'd be awesome. Well, that was a cool experience. I can honestly say I've never been drug across the floor. Um, I'm not sure that I'd want to be, but how about you, Tammy?
I have not been drug across a floor. I did have something, I did have a hat man appear at the end of my bed and try to drain me of my energy. And he was quite surprised when I sat up and told him to get the F out of my house. Because, most
Oh,
people are
no.
so scared. And I said, I'm like, get the F out of my house right now. And he's like, I'm like, go. And I kept yelling until he left. So That was pretty cool.
But yeah, you can catch that guy off guard. I had one experience one time with the hat dude, and I woke up and he was standing over my bed, just solid black, the whole hat, just like people describe him. And I had heard of that that phenomenon, but I had never experienced it. And I stood up to look to just like my, am I tripping? And as soon as I stood up, I was in a whole different world, a realm. I was now in this place that was like everything had an orange tint to it, like a real weird orange tint. It was real hot and dusty. There was no buildings, no trees, no nothing, just dust blowing. And above me was just a complete dark cloud cover, just forever. It just went on and on and on. He was standing in front of me, and because now we were in light, quote unquote, it was real. It wasn't dark. I'll just say that it wasn't dark, but it was real like dusty and that sort of dim. Like
Desert.
kind of like yeah, definitely a desert scape. But there was no hills, no nothing. It was just dirt, and that was orangey tinted. Uh, Blank sky. Like I said, it just went on forever, so it kind of touched together because of the way we see. And yeah, I could see that he wasn't solid black no more. His face was still solid black, empty nothingness of a face, but his black hat and black outfit, trench coat, whatever you want, duster. It was more like a duster, I guess. I got the feeling that it was made out of human skin. There was a bunch of like patchy pieces of patches, slightly off, dull dark, but they weren't all uniform black color, And he had it looked Western. He had a black leather vest underneath that duster, and he had what looked like a throwing knives. I know it sounds nuts, but he had throwing knives that looked like he had hammered himself. They didn't look like they were from Temu or Amazon or nothing. They looked like they were homemade, like throwing knives. They're pointy out and then had the little end piece you could hold on to. He was wearing leather gloves. Everything was leather. Everything on him was leather. And I just thought it was so odd because it was so specific. And I never would have thought in my head, oh, when I see a hat man, he's probably a cowboy wearing leather, chaps. Who thinks that, So I was really just like, I guess, surprised. And I looked at him and I said, aren't you an interesting one? Because it was just so out of place for me to see something like that. And he grabbed one of those knives really quick, and tried to stab me in my left rib. And I'm former law enforcement, bodyguard, martial artist, all that fun stuff. So I reacted naturally how I would react if somebody's attacking me. And I got him, I spinned him around, and I stuck the knife holding his hand up to where it would stab him right here, which there was no face though. But as soon as that pierced that darkness, that steel, or iron, whatever the hell it was, he turned into a mist, a black mist, and zipped out. And I was back in my room, sitting on my bed, and I was like, what the heck just happened, And I was like, that was weird. And I laid down. And the next morning, my mom had called me and said that, what happened to my window, that my window was broken. And I was like, what are you talking about? And I went to the room and I looked, and I had this, I don't know, like a good 60-pound solid real wood replica of a small house that we were made into a birdhouse. And it was stuck in the window. Whatever, when it zipped out of my room, I guess its astral booty grabbed onto that and yanked it out the window with it. And it stuck the curtains and that jammed into the window. So it affected the physical world, whatever it is. But it honestly, it felt like an assassin, like a hit. Like that was the hitman. And he was sent to get old Jeebus, But yeah, it was very strange. Never saw him again.
Well, I'm sure he's not used to people standing up to him.
When you were describing the place, I just kind of had a picture of like Mars in my head.
Yeah, something like that. But imagine clouds, solid cloud coverage, but all dark grayish, creepy tinted color. But you got exactly what I'm talking about. The tint, everything's that one color, like reddish orange.
Yeah.
It was so strange.
Wow, that's incredible. That's quite the experience. That's a
That
good
is
one. That could be a
amazing.
movie. That could be in a
You
movie.
know, the
Yeah,
Hat Man hit me.
that would
There you
be a
go.
good one. That would be a good movie. I like it. It's a good idea. You should write it down quick.
Right?
Yeah. Well, you know, Stephen King, he says that his stories come from his dreams, and who
Yep.
knows, you know, what kind of
And
nightmares that man
he's a
has.
Breaking Bad fan, so I'll tell him the story. Be like, write a book.
There you go. There you go. There you go. That'd be awesome. That'd be awesome. So you said you were close to a Bigfoot. So of course I'm going to ask you about that.
I've been close to a Bigfoot within, I would say, arm's reach of a Bigfoot. Could reach out, grab me, and smack me around if you wanted to. The first time was with J.C. Johnson, and we had all gathered for the Genome Project. We're submitting DNA for the Genome Project, and yeah, we ended up going out later that night, and I got in contact with a Sasquatch, and for the rest of the next couple hours, we were kind of following them back and forth in the trees, and one of them was standing in front of me in the tree line. I couldn't see it at the time, and Robert Kreider was with us, and he had went around the corner. I couldn't see him no more. He had told me to stay right here and hold perimeter. So I was holding perimeter, you know. Translation, I was just standing on the trail, just in the dark, you know, just doop doop doop. And I stood to the left, took a step because I was, you know, really heavy set at the time, and hurt. And when I did that, I heard something in front of me step to the left as well. And I was like, oh man, because just right 10 minutes before that, I was trying to communicate with it by tapping on rocks and seeing if it would mimic, you know, back and forth, which we were doing it back and forth until Robert decided to jump into the bushes and chase it, which I can't change that. So we had to work with that. And so now I was back with it, and Robert was doing with his own couple Sasquatches over there. And so after it did that step to the left, I took a step to the right, and it did it with me. And we're just stepping back and forth. I couldn't see it still. I was like, do Sasquatch, you know, and I thought it was so cool because it's communicating with me, not with mind speaking, not talking or nothing, but it's communication, a form of communication. It's not trying to kill me, so that's a plus, you know. And on the last step that it took, it stepped forward. That's a big foot. Yeah. And so that brought it out of the darkness. It was a full moon, and it was standing right in front of me, about I would say 4 feet, maybe 5 feet at most in front of me, and it was really large. I'm 6'3", and it was way bigger than me, and I could see with the moonlight kind of casting on the front of its face and eyebrows, and yeah, I was just, I guess you could tell I was somewhat shocked, just because I'm just like, is it really just standing there right in front of me? And then you hear Robert yell, they're coming out, they're coming out. And he's running. And he passes behind me and smacks me on the back. He's all, run, they're coming for us. Not realizing
Wait, Robert Kreider was running away from Bigfoot?
oh yeah, he was gone. And he didn't understand that I was looking at it, you know? There's one right there in front of him. And me and the Bigfoot just look at him, go, pew, you know, and I looked back at him, and he's just looking down at me, and I was like, and I started walking towards, you know, Robert, you know, going back to camp, and he didn't chase me or nothing. He didn't seem upset with me. And then that's when Robert, we told, you know, JC and other what we had just experienced, And Robert decided to go back out with my friend Junebug, and they didn't like him. So one of the Sasquatch threw a rock, big old rock at Robert, hit him in the crotch, and he got that on film. So there's footage of him getting hit square in the cojones by a Sasquatch. It's pretty funny. And then the other thing,
I don't know if I dare laugh at that, but I'm laughing at you saying it was pretty funny.
it was pretty funny then too. Not for him, I'm sure, but it was we were all laughing. Um, it was just, what, you never hear of that stuff. It's just silly, but it happened. The time after that was in 2017. I was doing a tattoo for a friend, and he had his friend come over, wanted to talk to me, and asked me about why I believe in Bigfoot, that I'm crazy, that he's been in those mountains up and down collecting antler sheds, and he ain't seen no Bigfoot, nothing, you know. So I told him, hey, one of these days, come on up, I'll show you some really wild stuff. If you can't explain how a human could have done it, I go, then give Bigfoot benefit of the doubt, okay? And he was like, okay, Jesus. And I don't know, a few months passed, and he finally got a hold of me. He was like, all right, let's do this. Let's go. I'm going to prove you wrong. And we went up to the mountains, and he told me about he has this fancy new tent, the pop-up tent that he had bought. And we're out there, and I start showing him tree structures and trees twisted and braided and giant trees, made into X's. And still wasn't, he was impressed, but wasn't impressed, you know? So I said, well, I go, they're out. I've been researching that one specific area for over 15 years. I know they're there. I've had pictures of them, juveniles, and I know they're there. And I announce myself whenever I go, so they all know I'm there. And I said, well, let's see if they're willing to tree knock back, because they don't know you. They might not. He was like, okay. So I did some tree knocks and whack, 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 and waited, and they did it back, and he was like, oh, and he said, do it again, do it again. I did it again. Tack, tack. They did it back twice. And he was like, that's right there. That's right there, dude. And I was like, yeah, this is where they live. It's like, yeah, that's where they're gonna be. And he's like, let's camp out, man. Let's camp out. We're camping now. Come on, come on, come on. I was like, all right, dude. You understand that these are very large, giant beings that could go with your little head, right? If they want to. I go, mine too. I was like, you sure you want to do this? I go, I'm used to them. He was like, let's do it. He was really young, so he threw caution to the wind. And so we set up the tent, and yeah, we wait. We wait, and 1 o'clock comes, 1:30 comes, and then we hear footsteps walk up to the tent, and I knew it was them. We're in the forest, and there was nobody out there. It's cold and early, very early in the morning. And one of them goes up to like kind of where he's sitting, starts sniffing the tent from the bottom, like right at the floor on up. Now, if it stopped, say halfway up the tent, because I could stand up in the tent and I'm 6'3" and I didn't touch my head. So it was a good sized tent. So a bear standing up could sniff a good distance up the tent, but it didn't stop. It continued sniffing up the tent and on top of the tent. So whatever it was very tall. And after it did that, it went back down, and then it shoved its arm underneath the tent. Big, big arm, really big arm, and knocked over the dude. And I shined the flashlight. If its arm was sticking in right there, its face should be right there at the bottom. So I flashed the flashlight, and I was like, no, bad Bigfoot, and it yanked its arm out. And my friend sits back up, and he goes, did you just scold the Bigfoot? I was like, yeah, yeah. What was I supposed to do, man? I ain't gonna yell at it. It's gonna kick my butt. So he was more surprised that I just scolded the Bigfoot, not that there's a Bigfoot. It just knocked him over. And that's when, one of them puts their hand on the tent ever so softly, really very large hand. And I'll send you those pictures. Um, so I'm pointing at him like, check it out. Because for me, it was fun. 'Cause I know they're there, So to me, I thought it was really cool because I kind of invited them down. I yelled right before we had set up to start setting up the tent. I yelled, I said, "Hey, come on down. What's up, brothers? It's me, Jesus. He doesn't believe you're real. Come say what's up tonight." You know, and he just gave me the most silly look you could imagine. He thought I was just being, dumb, being a smart aleck, and I wasn't. I think they can understand what I'm saying, so I'll talk to him. So we're in the tent, and he's like kind of like doesn't know what to think now. Like I'm guessing in the back of his mind, he was thinking that I was like setting him up, had friends or something, messing with him. And the thing was, though, I hadn't told anybody I was going to go that night. He just called me out of nowhere one afternoon and said he wanted to do it. So we just, okay, let's go. I live 20 minutes from the area, so it's not that big of a, oh, that's a whole world changing event. It's just like, okay, let's go. And he happened to have a tent on him. So there was nothing planned about it. So that's when we heard them peeling the part of the vent hood back from on top of the tent. So there's, the net of, 4 openings at the top,
The
and then
rain
you have the
guard.
vent hood. Yeah, yeah. So it was really, really cold. So we had tried to duct tape the extra piece of material down so the heat wouldn't escape. But if duct tape in, freezing temperatures, duct tape don't do much. So it didn't stick for nothing. But yeah, they peeled part of it back and they were looking straight down above my friend and so there's two of them and one was like making faces at him quietly. They weren't making noises. One of them was making faces at him and the other one was laughing, thought it was funny apparently. And where it gets really strange is that there was a third with them, and that was a green skinned, red eyed being. I guess you would describe it as a gray, but it wasn't gray, and it didn't have black. Same shape, like just like in cartoons and movies. The pointy chin, big head, almond shaped eyes, but on this one was green skin and red eyes instead of the
How tall
gray
was it?
with black. That's a good question. I'm curious myself because if it was looking in the tent, one of two things: either it was as tall as a Bigfoot or it was floating. I don't know because I didn't even realize that was looking in too. My friend, I'm guessing, did because he was having a panic attack, and it started with him seeing the first one looking in, and he just looking up, going, "Oh my God, I can see its nose. I can see its nose. I can see its nose." And then he like got stuck like a broken record, saying that faster and faster. Uh, and it got to the point where I knew he was going to like literally have a panic attack. And I shined the flashlight at their face, which I thought was that's what their face would be because they're looking down. And I said, "Stop it, you guys! He's freaking out. That's enough," you know. And they moved. They pulled back, but they walked around the tent for a couple hours until like 4 o'clock in the morning, and they left. Yeah, that morning we went outside the tent, and where it stuck its arm, there was no footprints, but you could see where it stuck its arm under the tent. It was disturbed, and yeah, he told me "You can have my tent, because I'm never going to these mountains again." And I haven't heard from him in about 7 years.
Wow.
So it literally scared the crap out of him.
Yeah, I'll send you those pictures too.
I'd love to see them. I would love to
Yes,
see them.
absolutely.
Absolutely. Well, we're coming close to our break time, so maybe we should just go to our commercial break and we'll be back in 2 minutes. Stay tuned, everybody.
There you go.
All right, we should be a break. I got to get into my private chat with Sarge. All right, you're doing good. We're already halfway done. Fun, fun, fun.
I tell you. Yeah, I've experienced quite a bit, so it's like people ask me, how is it you don't get scared, or how is it like when I filmed that one Bigfoot in Farmington walking across the field. Um, there was two parts of the footage. When I first saw it, and then where I turned off the camera and I took off, I let some locals on the reservation just take my car. I didn't care. I was giving them a ride to Walmart, to get groceries, and so take my damn car. I don't care. I took off on foot chasing the Bigfoot. People are like, a bunch of people on YouTube commented they didn't know I did that. They had just saw the 3-minute clip, not the full investigation, and they're like, "Oh man, if I was you, I would have went after that Sasquatch, man. You're stupid, dude." And I was just like, little do they know, It's I don't know. To me, I find it just, I've seen a lot, not even just with paranormal and strange, but being, where I've been in life and being a bouncer and a bodyguard and working in Compton and Watts and all the craziest parts of the United States. And I was a former prison officer, and I've seen some really horrible things. So it takes a lot to shake me,
Same. Oh, the show should be starting.
No, not quite yet. I'm waiting
I'll wait
for
until
the
we're
ghost.
back on air before I say what I was going to say.
Okay, that sounds like a good plan.
In Las Vegas, there's so many spirits out there just wandering around. I've got pictures.
Well, welcome back to the show, everyone. Hey, this is the Journey Radio Show, and we're the She Squatchers. Won't you check us out online at shesquatchers.com? And hey, we are on YouTube. Won't you come subscribe to our channel at She Squatchers Official? Also, we're on Facebook and Instagram. So please come like and follow us there for all the latest of what's going on with us. And subscribe to our YouTube channel. Do it. There's your peer pressure for the day. Back to the show. We've got Jesus Payan with us, and so excited to hear more of these exciting stories. Because when he was talking about being out in the field with Robert Kreider, we've been in the field with Robert Kreider when he came up to Michigan. That was a good time for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So it was weird for us to hear that he ran away from one.
Right? I was like, wait, what?
All right, Tammy, you had something. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah. Sorry. So he went right back in. I'll give him that.
Oh yeah. That's why I was surprised that he ran away, because he's usually like, boom, as soon as he gets there, he's in. But yeah, what I wanted to say was, wherever you are going and having these interactions with sounds amazing, and I want to meet your Bigfoot.
Me too.
All right, come on out. I'll take you.
He's in New Mexico.
Absolutely. I've never even been to New Mexico.
Me either. We need to go there. We need to go there. That would be awesome. Maybe we should plan something. Can we come visit? All right. Perfect. Well, we'll have to set something up.
An event or something out there.
Yeah, that would be great.
You got it all out here, trust me.
You guys have Bigfoot conferences?
Not yet, but I'd like to throw one.
There you go.
That'd be awesome.
Mind?
We should throw one. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Collaborate.
That'd be amazing.
So tell us more about your experiences with the Bigfoots there. This is just fascinating stuff.
Okay, well, the first time that I would say I had a physical encounter with one was before I was actively searching for them. I had been researching them, but just through mostly the internet and books. Up until 2000, 2003 that this happened, and I was I guess you've heard of White Sands National Monument.
I've heard of White Sands.
Yeah, so between White Sands and those mountains that I'm speaking of was my house, and I didn't know that Sasquatches went outside the forest. I never even thought that they would cross whole deserts, And me and my friend Michael, it was late night, and we're doing some UFO hunting. It was beautiful, just no moon. And like I said, I lived in the middle of the desert, so it was a really, really good view. I could see stars, but that's it. You couldn't see nothing in front of you. And my property was on a 5 acre plot, and the house was in the middle, and it like horseshoes around the property to the next properties, you know. And so it's gravel road, and so you got to walk, 2.5 acres to get onto the gravel road, whatever direction you choose. So we're out, we walk onto the gravel road, and we're just waiting. We're waiting for UFOs, and we hear something else walk on the road in front of us, about, I don't know, 20 feet at most. You know, on the gravel, and we're like, what the heck? Because it's like 2 o'clock in the morning, and nobody lives near us. Um, Minimum 5 acres in between every property, and we're kind of like, what the heck? And I call out, and I'm like, hey, who is that? Nothing. It just keeps on pacing back and forth across the gravel road. And at that point, I already had been, a bouncer in security for years, and I recognized when people try to build up their go juice. They're trying to build something up. They drink those 4 extra shots before they're willing to go step up and try something. And that's what it felt like. I felt, the static in the air of something that was trying to build up its
confidence.
Yeah, we'll say that. And um the it kept on walking faster, faster. Its pace was picking up, going back and forth, but it was like you could feel it could see us. It couldn't see it, but it could see us. Whatever it was, it felt it in the back of my head. It was staring so hard. And I finally told Michael, whispering, not that really mattered. And I told Michael, I was like, let's get down on the ground and grab some rocks. We're going to throw some rocks, and we're going to scare it away, whatever it may be. Right? So we got down, grabbed some rocks, and now we threw rocks like, we had octopus arms, and nothing. Didn't hit it once. It was like something. It was good. And now it's pacing even faster. It's pissed off now, right? We're like, oh, heck no. Here we go. I'm just like, well, this is life or death now, Michael. So I got back down on the ground. I felt around for a good sized rock, right? I found a good one. So I grabbed that rock, and I closed my eyes, even though it's pitch dark out there and I couldn't see nothing. Closed my eyes. And I was like, I'm going to use the force. Right. And I'm like listening to it, with my eyes closed. I could see it better. Sounded weird, but I could see it better with my eyes closed and just listening to the sound of it. Right. I reached back and, oh, I throw that rock like I've never thrown a rock before. And it goes, wow, it screams at us. And we're like, oh, we're cribbity cribbity. You know what I mean? And boom, we take off running towards the house. Oh my God. Oh my God. We're running now because that scream was scary. And at the time, I was probably close to 400 pounds. So, even though I felt like I was going Mach 20, I was going about three miles per hour, And it was like, if you were just watching it, probably like somebody hit slow-mo, you know? And I looked we get like halfway to the house, and the floodlights on, so you can start to kind of see a little bit. I look to my left, and it's a Sasquatch on all fours, just kind of galloping, just looking at me pissed off, but looking at me. And I was like, in my head, I wasn't thinking Sasquatch. I was like, monster! I'm going faster now, like 4 miles per hour. I'm about to have a heart attack. And I run up the deck. My friend had got there a long time ago because he was in good shape. And he was already up there, left me to die. And the Bigfoot, which it didn't look like a huge one, that's why I'm thinking it was a juvenile, like teenager maybe, young teenager. It ran around the deck and like kind of like echoed it. Didn't knock it down or anything, but it jolted the whole deck. It ran around to the other side of the deck, and we're trying to get in the house and open the sliding door. It's a sliding door. And we couldn't open the sliding door. We were like trying to try all the combinations, and knocking and popping, and finally we got it open, and we ran inside and closed the curtain and locked it. And that was my first time having a actual encounter with one.
You're so
that was,
funny. Oh my gosh.
it was scary. That was scary stuff, you know.
We
And
need
then
to introduce him to Jason.
Oh my gosh, we should go down there with Jason.
Yes.
Well, you know Jason, I've seen you commenting on his stuff, Jason Kenzie.
Oh, Jason,
Yeah.
J-Dog.
Yeah.
Could have said J-Dog. You know,
J-Dog.
he's a,
Is that what he calls himself?
he's a hardcore gangster rapper. I thought you knew.
I saw that video.
Yep. Look at
Him
that collab,
and you and
you know?
us together. Oh my gosh, our bellies are gonna be hurting so bad.
My face already
Talk
hurts.
to him.
I know. I saw that. You're
He's-
like, oh my jaw.
He's a red dog. Me and him already are planning him coming down. He's coming down, so you guys should talk to him. Tell him.
Heck
He'll
yeah.
tell you about
Really?
it.
When
That's
is
in
he
the
coming?
works already.
Heck yeah.
It's gonna be like late August, August-ish, late August, somewhere in that world. It's still not too cold here, you know. The second time I had an interaction with him, I was with my nephew in 2012. This would be now from that point to 2012. I've done in the field research. My mom, she worked for the forest department, and my sister was a police officer in these mountains here. So they would get reports of the Sasquatch, but they couldn't research them or investigate them because it's not right.
He's not real,
And
right? Yeah.
but they could tell me about the reports. So I was getting firsthand knowledge of where these reports were being seen of these other Sasquatch. So in 2012, my nephew flew down from Florida. He was 16, and he wanted to go Bigfoot hunting for the first time. And I was like, well, you know what? I think I'm ready to film my first documentary with my nephew with my phone. So I have been doing my own, I have my own hypothesis on where I should find physical traces of them traveling in and out of a certain area because of all the reports that I had gathered all the way leading to Mexico. So from Mexico to Juarez, Mexico to El Paso, Texas. And these are reports from the Border Patrol. And from there through Las Cruces and here across the whole missile range, the military range, where military guys had been making reports about seeing Sasquatch running up and down the missile range. And so I had like a visual of using Google Earth. I had pretty much figured out their path from the mountains going up and down, backing out in and out of the desert. And so I picked this place here called Tule Creek. We went up there, and sure enough, found footprints. And we went into a farther back area in the creek. And yeah, we found a structure, a first real structure, where you could tell that they had put matting down and everything, and they had weaved it, and it was a cool little hut. And I always try to do a specific whistle so they know it's me when I'm around. And so I had been doing this whistle. I just do it like real simple, nothing crazy. Um, and I was filming their little hut, and I said, as you can see here, this is one of their structures. And I couldn't hear it at the time. Not until I got home and we were going through the video, me and my nephew, did we hear they had said something. We didn't even notice that, when we were recording. And when I said, here's their structure, one of them said from behind me, he said, bush. Instead, it was a correcting me, like, a bush, fool. You're talking about structure, but right after that, they started whistling to me, doing I'd do it to them, and then there was I think there's 5 of them all together. It was the daytime too, we weren't nighttime or nothing, and they were all going back and forth with me, all right there in the mesquite bushes and stuff. And that was the first time that we, that had an interaction with them. And whenever I did have any type of future contact with them, I'd always try to communicate with them. I always try to talk to them like people, because they're people. They're, some are a little out there, inbreeding problems, but I'm guessing somewhere in there. But yeah, some are a lot more normal than others. Um, it, you know, depends on,
Who
I guess,
knew that
area.
Bigfoot had a sense of humor? I love it.
Oh, yeah, Bigfoot's a nut, man. Because like in those pictures of them looking in the tent, you can see one of them is doing faces like this, like that, and the other one right next to it was like this. And it's like that. I got pictures of that, so it's like it's
That's
a trip.
amazing.
Like, yeah, even when I flashed the flashlight in their face, I even got a picture of it making a grimacing face, like because it's so bright.
Right?
But I think that's really interesting. It's like, how do you? I don't know. It's just craziness. It's a trip. It's wild.
That's
I don't
fun.
take it for granted though that they wouldn't hurt me if need be. They're very capable. They're just like Jane Goodall takes chances out there with any chimpanzee or gorilla, and it doesn't take much for them to be able to hurt us. And for the longest time, I really just didn't care if I got hurt or not. I was just like, what am I going to do? Not much you can do. I don't care if I have a 50 millimeter, cannon on me. They're never alone.
Right?
So they're coming groups. And you don't realize it. You have no idea how many there is around.
I think that a lot of the people that disappear, maybe they're the ones that tried to shoot one because, like you said, I don't think they're ever really alone. There's never going to be just one.
Rare. Rare. And if they are, then it's usually a juvenile that got away, being the fool, just playing and chasing something, didn't realize how far it was running or whatever. That's when we have
Yeah.
the accidents. We'll see them here and there, the parents looking for their kids.
Yeah. Those young men out there doing stuff they're not supposed to be doing. Being seen by the people.
Yep, them little juveniles raiding them pot farms. They
What do
do.
they do? Tell me about that.
Yeah, no, there's been reports of the Sasquatch going and picking buds from the farmers,
Can you
taking
blame them?
taking stuff. Sometimes I've left it for them before. Shoot, as offerings, I've left that for them. They seem to take it every time. Ain't complained so far.
Right?
But
So do you think they're eating it?
Well, I don't know how they would
I
smoke it.
I think they're eating it or maybe using it like dip. You know. But yeah, no, there's a lot more to them than people think. Like I've been working on this image. I like to enhance some images, and you guys are familiar with M.K. Davis.
Yeah.
Okay, so he had recently got a really, really clear image of Patty's face. Seen
Yeah.
that? Okay, so
The image of Patty's face that he did.
yeah, he got a super clear one. It was from a still frame that he got, and this one guy had some kind of imaging software that really just did a real good job. But I know I could get more. I could get more out of it. So I got the picture and I enhanced it a lot. And I was always wondering whenever I saw Patty's face, right here, it looks like you could see her teeth, like growling kind of, but it closed right here. And then you can see like three teeth over here in the picture. And I had always wondered, why does her mouth do that? It doesn't seem natural, like, making a face.
Right.
So once I enhanced it, I'll also send you those pictures too. Once I enhanced it, I could see a bandage attaching the top lip and the bottom lip. And I'm not talking about it's a mask, somebody sewed a mask together. No, 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 no. I'm talking about surgical bandage. like something, a trauma happened to her mouth, and somebody fixed it. Somebody sewed that part of her mouth up. And it's a specific type of a knot too, and bandage here that allows you, if say you're the person it happened to, you can still open your mouth a little bit. You can eat and drink still. Um, so it had like almost like a slip knot. And what I did was I went to my local hospital and I covered up the rest of the face and just showed the mouth portion with the bandaging. And I asked the doctor, I was like, what type of bandages are these? Like, what would they be for? You know? And he, it, quick, said, oh, well, that's for a mouth trauma. I said, why is this one like this? And he said that exact thing that I said was so you could still open your mouth to an extent and eat and drink without damaging the sutures that had been put in. And that right there opened up Pandora's box for me even further because another Bigfoot over here that I got a picture of, I call it Bailey. I don't know if it's a boy or a girl, but on Bailey's right arm, I'll send you the picture. There's a scar which looks like it has a raised scar. That's I forget what it's called. It's called it's a type of scarring. It is. Now I can't remember the dang name. Brain fart. All right, it's when if you're gonna cut yourself, keloid. There you go, keloid scarring. So a lot of people with black skin, they'll have raised scars. Okay, and in some tribes in Africa, they do it on purpose because it looks tribal, and they'll do all kinds of designs. But the Sasquatch had it on its arm. It looked like kind of like a nine, the shape of a nine, a little thingy at the bottom or whatever. The thing was, I had seen that scar before. It was on Patty, from Patterson again film. On her same side arm in the same location, but hers was a lot older and had some ribbing on it. But again, it was a branding or it was self scarification. One of the two. But one of the two. There's the same design. What are the chances? One, of getting a picture of Bigfoot, but to get a picture of Bigfoot with the same scar, two different states with more than 50 years in between them.
So that makes me wonder, did somebody do that to them to track them? Or did they do that to themselves to mark their tribe? Like a gang tattoo.
Right?
Right?
Well, that's the thing, though. Like if it was a tribe thing, that shouldn't happen because all of our tribes here that we have here, like with I work with the Mescalero Apache. You won't see a Mescalero Apache tribal sign in New York. It'll be the different tribe. They're different. They have territories. So I'm leaning towards it being a branding of some sort, possibly. Because after I talked to MK about what exactly happened to he thinks happened to Patty, what was going on with Patty during that time. He has a video on it, so you didn't have to hear it from me. But yeah, from what it sounds like is that somebody had caught Patty, Patty's plan, and had been using them for hunting to make money. The uber rich, I'm guessing. I can't, either that or the aliens. They're working with the aliens, and the aliens see them as property. I don't know.
I have noticed that people who are alien abductees have brandings on their face. It's hard to see it, but once you start seeing it, you can't stop. And there's different symbols. And so I think that, and I talked to Travis Walton about it from Fire in the Sky, about the brandings that I was noticing on the people who were abducted by aliens. And he said, yeah, that they do that. And because I felt like intuitively, I felt they were marking their people like, this is ours. You don't mess with this one. This is our.
Well, yeah, it's true because I've studied the alien abduction phenomenon And like I said, I'm friends with Travis Walton, Whitney Strieber, his late wife. Um, we all kind of congregate sort of at some point or another, but a lot, not a lot, but here and there, I would run into the occasional case of an abductee that has nothing to do with Bigfoot, don't care about Bigfoot, didn't believe in Bigfoot, seeing Bigfoots in the ships, working under the graves.
Hmm.
That's
Now
really
I've got
interesting.
pictures of a green-skinned one. Well, that was the thing. So a few months ago, maybe me and my parents went camping. Wasn't a Bigfoot hunter. It was just purely to visit my folks, and we never had gone camping in years. So we just, went to a local area, which happens to be Bigfoot reports. Can't help it. That mountain's covered with them. And we had our little fire going, and we're just talking and whatnot. And I started hearing crazy noises. And I got a new phone that has a really, really good night shots, that the new S23 Ultra. And just if you have some kind of lighting, it does some amazing stuff. And it's instant. I do it, hold it 5 seconds, look at it, and then I can brighten it up or whatever I need. And in these pictures, the first one I see looks like a little Bigfoot or chimpanzee hanging from a tree. Woohoo! And then another picture, it looks like a dog man, a werewolf, at the edge of the forest, not looking very happy. And then in the next picture, it looks like a Sasquatch. You can see the eyes kind of glowing. And to the right of it, a gray. This time, an actual gray, not the green thing. This one had the gray skin and black eyes. Like I've got all those pictures too. A lot of the stuff that I do see, I get pictures of because I'm just so used to questioning myself, I guess, to where in my mind, if it comes out in the picture, I'm not crazy.
That's
It's
true.
instant, and no
That's
matter what
true.
it is, I see a picture, picture, ghost, picture, Bigfoot, picture,
Mhm.
aliens, picture.
I hate to say it, but we are coming towards the end of the show, and I know that you have a book coming out, and I want to give you extra time to tell us about that and how the people can find you and tell us about that, please.
Okay, so the book is called Baking Bad with Gonzo. It's the whole time Baking Bad with Gonzo, my Breaking Bad memoir, how I lost 200 pounds. So it's also a cookbook. So I have a bunch of keto recipes of how I lost the weight. I give my exercise program, and tell my story of what happened becoming one of the actors for Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul. It'll be available on Amazon. Just type in Breaking Bad cooking book, and it'll pop up. That probably won't be live officially till next week. I thought it was going to be this week, but more than likely it's going to be next week. And then if you want to reach out to me, Instagram, just type in Breaking Bad's Gonzo. That's my handle, Breaking Bad's Gonzo on Instagram. Facebook, I only have like 200 friends. So if you want to, just type in Jesus Payan. Hopefully you'll see my face. And then if you want to email me, it's breakingbad's.gonzo420 at gmail.com. So it's BREAKINGBADSGONZO 420 at gmail.com.
There you go.
There you go. Awesome. Good job. Like a
Thanks for having me.
professional.
It was so great to meet you. You're so fun.
Likewise.
I hope we can come down with Jason. That would be
I hope
awesome.
so too.
That would
All
be
Amazing.
kinds
And
of
you come
crazy stuff to
back.
show you. Happy to. Thank you, guys.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks for tuning in. Good night, everyone.